Here are my spoiler-free thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping. The way I inhaled this book, I loved it. I think this is great. Like, if we're ranking all five books, I would put this at number three. Solid. It's much better than Ballad. I would say better than Mockingjay. Not as good as Catching Fire or the original Hunger Games. Like, they're probably the top two. But this, I'd say like 4.5 stars out of 5. Like, solid, very good. The biggest thing for me is that it moved. It was actually paced correctly. When you compare this to Ballad, Ballad is like over 100 pages longer than all the other books, and we can tell there's so much unnecessary filler. It meanders about the plot. Glacial is the pacing of that story. This one was dynamic, no time was wasted. In fact, in some places, I thought it went a little bit too fast. But for the most part, I was like, yes, this is everything I expected from the story. I've seen some people say, like, oh, fifth book, that's a bit of a cash grab. It's been almost 20 years. I think 5 books in that amount of time is actually quite conservative, and I'd be here for a sixth book, if only to balance it out, because then we have, like, an original trilogy, a prequel trilogy. We're definitely entering, like, a Star Wars level of canon, especially in this one. There's so many references, so many cameos. It's fan service, but it also felt earned. Maybe I just have a soft spot for it because this franchise is so nostalgic to me. Like, there's something very comforting about coming back to this, like the phenomenon that was the Hunger Games. Like, it's so iconic. I just remember, like, being 10, reading the first book, being obsessed, watching the first film. Like, did I cry when Rue gets killed in the first film? Yeah, I cried. She makes, like, a little flower memorial around her and sings a sad song. If you didn't cry, you're made of stone. I have seen some people complain that the writing in this one is quite juvenile in its style. I don't disagree, but I also think, like, that's very much YA. Like, the narrator is a 16-year-old. What do you expect? Like, some eloquent description of what's happening. Like, he's a teenager. Like, these books, I think it reflects more how the audience have grown up themselves. Like, most of us who read these books when they first came out are no longer children. So I think if you go back and read those, it's been roughly the same level throughout. It's just we're noticing it more now. What I will also say is that this could be the darkest one in the series. Maybe I'm just feeling it more because of current times or, like, where I am in my life. This one was unfair. This one was cruel. I truly was taking in, because, like, the whole series is horrifying in a lot of ways. But this one, more than any of the other 4, I was like, wow, this is messed up. Like, you truly see behind the curtain of how the Capitol runs things. You see how it isn't perfect, how they have to, like, clean up their act when they make mistakes. And there's definitely real world parallels that maybe I just am more sensitive now to because of our current political climate. Who's to say? I did thoroughly enjoy this. If I do have a gripe with it, it's probably the characterization of Haymitch. I just think you don't get as much of a sense of his, like, charisma and his sense of humor as you do in, like, the original trilogy. In this, he's much more, like, doe-eyed and innocent. I guess that's a deliberate choice because in this he's only 16. When we meet him in the original trilogy, he's sort of been through the trials of life, and so he's a lot more dry and cynical about everything. But I wish some of that had trickled into this, just so that he felt a bit more reminiscent of the Haymitch that we already knew. Her main characters in her books often read a lot of the time as the same person. Like, there are definitely parallels between Katniss, Coriolanus, and Haymitch that are a bit, like, tropey, but I don't really mind that. Like, I think we put these books on a pedestal where we expect so much out of them, and truly, I think for what it is, this is a really solid book. I'm now going to talk spoilers. This is the point of no return. If you have any desire to read this book untarnished, scroll away now. You've been warned. Spoilers, okay? Okay, let's get into it. Maisie, favourite character. I'm sure that's a popular takeaway from this book. Whoever's playing Maisie in the film, we need the performance of a lifetime, okay? Because she was eating these tributes up, okay? The sass, the unbothered icon, like, yes. We knew she was going to die, but Maisie, fan favourite character right there. I do think that the last 50 pages of this book are a bit rushed. They feel a bit rushed, and I get it, like, we're culminating his character arc. It's very much like the Padme Amidala syndrome, where all the characters that we've been introduced to who aren't in the original trilogy have to die. And so we see his brother and his mother die in like a house fire. We see he inadvertently poisons the love of his life, Lenore Dove. And it's very sad, but it just felt a bit pat. So I think even if there'd just been like 30 more pages, the emotional significance of it probably would have had more impact, because it felt more just like, yeah, we could see that coming. It's going to be very interesting seeing how they adapt this into a film, the choices that they make, even just with casting, because it's like President Snow, we've had 82-year-old Snow, we've had 18-year-old Snow, now we have to have 58-year-old Snow, who, by the way, is monstrous. And it was strange as well seeing how much Plutarch is involved in this, because, like, in the original trilogy, Philip Seymour Hoffman is, like, younger than Haymitch, like Woody Harrelson. But it's weird that in this version, he's very much a mentor figure who's supposed to be older than Haymitch. So I don't know who's going to play both of them. I can already tell that the budget for the arena in this one is going to be outrageous. It's going to look like Jurassic World. I'm worried it's going to be like a CGI nightmare, because Suzanne Collins was definitely feeling her like Jeff Vandermeer fantasy. There were so many weird animal mutations. There were butterflies, ladybugs, man-eating birds, flesh-eating squirrels, there were bats. There was that porcupine that was shooting like the poisonous quills. Like, the whole arena is meant to be like a poisonous garden. So I'm hoping that they nail it and it actually looks good, as opposed to like a CGI James Cameron nightmare. Like, I hope it's not like that one planet in the prequels. Is it Felucia? What's the planet where Ayla Secura gets killed in Order 66? That one. I worry it will look a bit like that. There's going to have to be some retconning as well, because in the films they said that they tried to set up like a Haymitch Effie romance, but it's clear in this book that he only has eyes for Lenore Dove. So maybe they'll just ignore that. But then as well with the Mockingjay pin, in the book, it seems like the pin came from Maisie and then goes to Katniss. But that's not really what happens in the film. In the film, Katniss like exchanges it at like a junk sale, basically. So, don't know. Maybe they'll just ignore that. I'm going to need at least one more book that clears up the whole Lucy Greybeard situation, because this book kept alluding to what happened to her without explicitly telling us what happened to her. Like, when Lenore Dove dies, Haymitch goes to the grave where they bury all the Covey, and Lucy's grave is there, but we're never explicitly told, like, oh yeah, she died, she's buried under there. Like, that could just be a placeholder. And it really frustrates me that we don't know what happened to her. So if we can get, like, one more book, maybe one that explores the first Quarter Quell, because that's very much steeped in mystery. We don't even know who won. We just know that the districts picked their own tributes, which is so messed up. That could be a really cool book and a really cool film. Like, maybe it's one of the career tributes, because they're always shown as unlikable, so that would be an interesting main character. I don't know, I'd be here for it. But those are my thoughts on Sunrise. Would defo recommend if you haven't already.